All right, yo, it's your boy Honcho, man. I'm back with another video. I'm here with my boy Martise and my boy Noah, aka Big Booski. This is episode, I don't know, we're gonna say episode 7. We've recorded and dropped a lot of content for you guys lately, but today we have a super big fish for you guys to catch today. We're going to be talking about Marvel versus DC, the ultimate immortal, unending debate that has no right or wrong and no winning side. So let's get into it. The question is, guys, why has DC not been able to transfer over the success that Batman and Superman have to their other characters, but Marvel is able to spread the love? And what I mean by that is that DC only cares to push Superman and Batman at times, right? Where Wonder Woman gets the sideline. Like, we're getting a Joker, was that a series or a movie, but we're not getting a Wonder Woman, right? Um, and Wonder Woman, being the most famous woman superhero of all time, deserves a little bit more love than what she's getting. She's getting the black character over at DC treatment over there, but as a woman, we know how they treat their black characters over there. And I don't like that she's being sidelined. I know an absolute Wonder Woman, she's got her own thing going, but I would like to see more Wonder Woman in the mainstream media. Go ahead, guys.
Would you like to go first, Booski, or?
Yeah, why not? I think it all goes back to a lot of the writing.
Mhm.
And kind of like, even I don't know what DC is so hung up about when it comes to Batman and Superman. We love them both. Here, in this podcast, we love both of those heroes. Um, but at the same time, it's like, guys, what about these other characters? Why can't the Flash have a trilogy of movies with a good actor who's not committing crimes? and
That's crazy.
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying? Like, or why can't we just have some of these other characters have spotlight? Because DC has some of the most interesting characters, right? And some of the most interesting teams, and they're so hung up on the Batman and Supermans. And even the other movies are about Batman villains before we even get movies about Batman or other heroes in the DC universe. Like, why isn't there a Booster Gold movie? When Why do we need a Clayface movie or a Blue Beetle movie? You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
kind of think there's a lot more other interesting characters that they could be pushing out, instead of trying to make, oh, let's give Batman's villains movies and comic books and main storylines, when it's like, you guys have characters like Static Shock that are he just got into Titans, though. I will give him that. But where has this been in so long? People already forget about Static Shock, I feel like.
Yeah, the fact that Static Shock wasn't already an established member of the Titans or any team really is especially with how powerful, with how popular he was when that show came out back in the day. Um, the fact that he hasn't, DC hasn't put him more like, hey, let's get this guy out in the forefront. Um, Kind of shows you where the DC editorial is geared towards, and I believe the launch of the Absolute Universe um, kind of shows that and feeds into their delusion that only Batman and Superman work, and Wonder Woman works when you plug her in somewhere else. You know, um, like
I,
I'm a new Batman fan. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But I know that Batman gets pushed heavily. I know that Superman gets pushed heavily, and I know why Superman gets pushed heavily. So we won't get into that. But I really do think that DC has a holy grail of characters that they could be pushing. Like John Stewart, he's getting his own series now. He's getting a series, not a movie. Supergirl got a movie over John Stewart, and that movie, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. I think that what they're doing with the Lanterns could have been done with Supergirl. Or like even like the Clayface movie. Like, why are we getting a Clayface movie with no Wonder Woman? Like Noah said, um, why are we getting a Clayface movie with no Flash? Like Noah said, why are we getting a Clayface movie, but there's no Batman established in the
Yes, yes,
like,
I
exactly.
think because I can speak to this, and I'm coming from the perspective of like who's someone who loves villains more than heroes, and
uh-huh.
I think what the DC universe does fantastically in is create a great hated villain and make
Uh-huh.
him like super mysterious. Like people, at this age, at this era, people love a mysterious person. Everybody wants to be mysterious. So they love these mysterious characters with these great lore lines and stuff like that. And I feel like now with like James Gunn kind of leading the charge, it can kind of be curated to be more of like, like you introduce these characters with somewhat of a strategy to then tie them in. Now, I know all this stuff where the storylines are happening, and it probably doesn't make sense to introduce Clayface now comparatively, but I don't feel like
Or
the
at
Clayface.
all, by the way, at all.
No, I feel like the Clayface idea
Nah,
is
dude.
is a good like, hey, we're gonna snowball into this because they've had like shows. I know like the list of shows that like they had to pull out of and they're gonna go into. So I feel like the shows are gonna be a great front runner for how successful DC can really be, but doing something like a very mysterious, weird, strange, R-rated murder-like character like Clayface is a great way to start and make it like this inspector kind of like I don't know, kind of
Okay.
crime analytics kind of movie. But to speak to the point of why it doesn't go super well, um, the very obvious things that we do understand is that Superman and Batman are very well known across the universe. That's just like everybody
Yeah, it's a
knows
given.
that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to kind of create that excitement for characters like Blue Beetle and Shazam, like I guess a Batman similar, or like a Hawkman or things like that. It's kind of hard to curate that, especially when you don't have a universe that is very tied together. You kind of just drop them in, like I don't know, like you're dropping just raindrops from a cloud. Like you're kind of just dropping them in, and they don't just clump together. So it's hard to kind of spend that time now rebuilding, especially when they had already got started. Let's say, I don't know, late 90s DC era for, I guess, some of the fewer new movies at the time. And then we're now have this bad taste in our mouth. Like, it's hard to look back and say, like, they definitely did it wrong. They definitely didn't connect a single thing except for the Batman movies and just kind of dropped all these little things. But I feel like it's hard to I would definitely say for sure, like the shows have spoken more to the accuracy of what DC can absolutely do. But I think this is a producer kind of conversation. So
Mm.
although I'm very optimistic of James Gunn for sure, because he came with a plan of the gods and monsters plan, and I feel like that's
And
a
there's no
great.
Batman.
It's okay though, because your argument is like, why are we doing Superman and Batman? They're great
Yeah.
characters. Forget that. If our argument is, hey, yo, we need to do something better and more than Superman and Batman, like we gotta go with the gods and monsters. We gotta feel the villains. We gotta feel the gods first
Right.
and
Okay.
see how we can get them interested in the end of the universe. But at the same time, it's also like things that are politically structured, unfortunately, because I feel like now, huh?
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Watch this. I love your argument. So you said the gods and the monsters, right? Keep going while I pull this up. And
The
watch
the
this.
the other
So
the other angle of it is like now the Captain Marvel movie did, I would say, well. I'm gonna call it well, like at least overall.
It was decent.
Uh, it was decent. It was
so
decent. It wasn't like in the midst of everything that was going on. I feel like Captain Marvel kind of just didn't fit, but it does tie in lore wise. But looking at like another headliner woman character, I honestly felt like the Supergirl movie was going to do a lot better than it did. But I feel like once again, politically structured, people just aren't necessarily ready to have like that woman front runner yet. And I
yeah, they're
feel like
not.
a lot of people are missing out on that. A lot of people are missing out on some great women
Stories.
leaders, powerful
Yeah.
leaders, and stuff like that. That have great stories.
In pop culture.
Especially like what's her name? The magician. Was it Zanata? What's her
Zatanna.
name?
Zatanna.
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 Oh my god.
Yeah, she's
Hold on.
sick.
I feel like we have Wanda. So because of Wanda is so popular right now, people aren't
Right.
really looking elsewhere. But I want to go back to before we go into that. So you said they're focused on the gods and monsters. So where's he at?
Chill. We have to get pieces of the information. We can't just get
No,
everything and throw it, bro. You
you
can't
know
just
what,
say
Jay?
all the food you're gonna get
Yeah.
and just throw it at the wall, bro. You have to do one at a time. You
No,
have to
Jay's
make it
it.
make sense. And somebody who knows, somebody probably pitched this. Who knows? Somebody probably pitched this. We got a lot on the list. If you look at the list of like what we're going to get, we have a lot. So who knows if he wasn't pitched into this? It just probably doesn't have that attractive of a story based on the
Yeah.
writers. That's really just a writer pitch
No,
at the end of
I
the
tell
day.
you, James Gunn, right? Same thing with the Batman character. He thinks the character is boring. Well, that's the only reason. The only reason why he hasn't jumped the gun on it is because he thinks the character is boring. What do we know about James Gunn? He's colorful. Every project that he's done is he took the Guardians of the Galaxy and made it nothing like the source material.
Because he had to
Okay,
make a
Well,
comedy and sell, you know what I mean?
also, you got to understand he did do Brightburn.
He did
yes,
do
he did. Right?
Brightburn.
Yeah,
That is true.
right.
That is on a darker
He's
pace.
Yeah, he's more so of a colorful director. And we know this based off of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which are beautiful. I don't care if they don't really tie into the comics that well. I don't really
I
give
don't
a
know,
crap.
man.
It's beautiful. But
No, my fault,
yeah,
my
no,
fault.
no, good.
Um, I think we're still kind of jumping the gun, and you're an impatient ass, bro. You're impatient. You're impatient. You want
Get
to see
up.
shit like right away, bro. I don't want to hear it, so you want to see shit right away. So I get Martise's frustration. I see, like, wait, we got to get there first, because we do got to get there first. And I think, but I think James Gunn could do it, man. He did all the Scooby Doo movies. He did Brightburn. Those are fairly good dark movies. As
I
granted,
agree.
The Scooby Doo villains and all the monsters and they're dope. They're pretty dope. Like I could see the Batman by James Gunn being fantastic. I don't think it's because like he did say that he find the character boring, but I think he's trying to find a way to give it that life, that James Gunn life. You know what I'm saying? Where it's got that spice, where you're like, oh, I know I'm watching a James Gunn film, but it's still that dark undertone line that people want to see for Batman.
My whole thing is that right. We already have an established DC Batman with Robert
Mhm.
Pattinson, who was amazing. By the way, I
Yes.
really enjoyed that movie.
True.
Okay,
True.
Yes.
and I really enjoyed that movie and where they're going with it, right? Because they're starting off with the original Detective Comics to where there's not really any supervillains yet. He's kind of Gotham is going through that
Yeah, it's like
turn from
Batman Year One.
that
Yeah,
crime
exactly. It's
family.
very
Yeah,
young
Yeah,
Inspector
yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
well, I believe he's only like 22 or 23 in the film.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
obviously
22.
age him up in the next one, but like you already have an established Batman who is the same age as the actor for Superman. I believe they're very close in age, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
being that your Superman is 30, you can age up your Batman because Robert Pattinson doesn't look how he looked in 2022. So you can age him up now. And you can go wherever you want with the story, and you can
Mm-hmm.
connect the two. They're perfect for each other. But I think James Gunn is having trouble and James Gunn is someone who wants to who's giving us with the Superman movie and Supergirl as much comic book love as possible. I really do truly believe that Superman movie was almost pulled directly out of All Star Superman in terms of kindness, and it's like spitting images. Um, and
What are your thoughts on like I guess the shows he's gonna do? Because I mean, like the movies are because my argument is
Peace.
that like shows, especially written by great producers, give the creative vision and enough time to be able to build towards a comic accurate story.
yeah,
And movies aren't just really structured that way,
Yeah.
unless it's like a well-known story, and then it's very easy to write and so on and so forth, which is very
yeah,
recognizable. But I feel like things like Creature Commandos, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Peacemaker,
yeah, yeah.
Peacekeeper, sorry,
Those are
you know what I
bangers.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
Peacemaker.
those are going to be Baker, like bangers. You know what I mean?
Peacemaker, Peacemaker isn't important, but people like it, right? Peacemaker. No one knew who Peacemaker was before this TV show, right?
Right.
Non-comic readers, right?
Yeah. No, I didn't even know who Peacemaker was when he got
Exactly.
announced to the Suicide Squad, and
So
we're huge into comics, so it's like,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Lanterns is important, right? And
Atlanta's important. Yeah.
they
I,
casted Aaron Pierre, who is now an A-list actor, to be Jon Stewart. right? And you age up Hal Jordan, which is smart. That's the right thing to do. Um,
That's a
right.
controversial topic.
Right.
I that is
So,
nothing I heard like nothing less about is the aging out part. It's like he can't even do anything. So what is he? Whatever. Anyway, whatever. You continue.
yeah. Lantern is important, but I think instead of Supergirl, we could have got that. Um, but I'm not. I don't. I'm not opposed to getting a sequel to Supergirl either. But what other shows is he doing that I haven't heard about?
He has a
I'll pull up a list of them.
Yeah.
yeah, because he has a few more. It's but like I know.
Hey,
Man, I
hey.
was just reading.
So, the shows that James Gunn are doing, that is the I don't see him doing well with the Absolute Batman, just because it's still so fresh.
That's so crazy. That's
No,
so
that's
crazy.
I think you're tripping, bro. If
I,
they just pull from the source material, we don't have no worries.
we have literally no worries, especially with it being recency biased source material.
People
It's only
would
doing
rip
it.
them to shreds, dude.
No, they're gonna fry. Yeah, they know they would absolutely tear apart like the DC universe if this didn't go well. But unfortunately for us, it's recent. All 2025, 2026. We may even get a fucking the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
Finally,
that series is really good. The absolute Martian Manhunter is sick.
that would be like a dream come true for like my
Yeah,
Justice League loving dude. Like
I
I
could
would
see that.
enjoy that.
I
But
could see that.
uh, that's what's really gonna come from. Like the revival of the DC universe is going to be very heavily weighed on shows because that's what he pitched. Really, he pitched shows. There are already shows out there. There's already some kind of aspect of a universe being built from past animated shows that have done really well in the grand scheme of things, and people heavily reference them because they're heavily related to the comics. But this is going to be one of those new things, especially with characters we have never seen in the show. And if we have, it's like as short as the Hercules showing in Thor. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah,
just as prominent, but short. Um, so things like let's kind of go through these a little bit. I feel like Waller might be good because I think the criminal, like investigative thing is going to be fantastic. But I kind of getting that different aspect of where you're coming from for the Suicide Squad would be kind of cool. I don't think it's going to be a well loved series overall, but it
Waller,
could be. Yeah, I feel like the Amanda Waller show might be okay.
it'll be okay, but what do we need that for? That's how I feel about it.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I don't know why we need that. We have three movies, or no, we have a bunch of series and movies with Amanda Waller, and she's pretty prominent in each of them. She's prominent in Creature Commandos. She's also in Suicide Squad, the first and the second one, and Peacemaker a little bit.
And she's in
Um,
every single DC animated movie as well.
yeah, so it's like, dude, we okay. I understand. We'll take it, and I think I'll take it because I'll get to see other characters that are
Thank
in
you.
the DC universe.
Right.
Like, but other than that, it's like it's all right. I'm cool with that. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Like I said, the Gods and Monsters thing is just going to be a great way to introduce characters, and I feel like that's the vision
Yeah,
to
I can see that.
build a relationship with those characters because if Blue Beetle, the movie didn't do well, I would say. I mean, they backed it, they advertised it super well. The advertisement is, I mean, Blue Beetle's a
It
fantastic
was decent.
type of
It was
character.
decent.
I feel like the advertising did really well, but I once again the Blue Beetle's just not a character that everybody knows. It's just not. Wasn't really a super high bought comic necessarily. And I feel like the show is going to be able to build that love in order to transition into a good second movie or introduction or a team up, whatever it may be. I feel like that's just one of those things. Or even, you had mentioned Mr. Miracle. It depends on which Mr. Miracle we're talking about. Are we talking about Scott? Are we talking about, what's his name? Who is the other gentleman I was thinking of? But I think Scott is probably the best
Well,
Mr.
yeah. That's
Miracle.
the only Mister Miracle. I mean, that I know of. I didn't know there was other ones.
I'll tell you right now because there's two other names. There's like a Kevin. I'll tell you, just a miracle.
All right, so let me ask this question: why has Marvel
Let's
gotten
see.
it right when it comes to spreading the love, and why can't DC kind of pick up that
I
slack?
guess we'll just kind of use Scott. Yeah, Scott's just really the main one.
I don't know, man. I think it all comes back to it comes back to developing these characters. You know, Marvel has had years and time to kind of develop their characters. We fell in love with Iron Man, Captain America, and some people even fell in love with some of the Thor movies. Um, and you know, we built relationship with those characters before they were kind of stripped away from us, and they're doing the same thing with Spider-Man. They really know how to make you love a character and almost rip them away from you, and I feel like that's a good that's the beauty of writing, though, you know.
Yeah,
um because you know you're like, damn, like I don't know. I don't know what I think. DC's on the right track though, because like Marty said, the shows help us flesh out the characters. I don't even want Wolverine to show up in the first X-Men movie that's going to come out. I want him to have a series where we get to see him go to a fight in World War I and maybe have a Captain America cameo, or we get to see him in the Frank Miller run where he's in Japan. Like,
Right.
that's what I want to see from Wolverine before he even shows up in the X-Men. I think that would be sick, you know?
Right.
yeah, but not
So
Hugh
it's,
Jackman.
yeah, it's all about setting them up.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
see
I feel
that
like
too,
if
but I
characters
don't
aren't
want to
set
see
up
Hugh
properly,
Jackman.
we cannot hear you, bro. Unless I can't.
Oh, you can't
What'd you
hear me?
say?
I said I
I
want to see
can't
that
hear
too.
him.
I want to see that too, but I don't want to see Hugh Jackman.
Well, yeah, no. I don't think that should be the option. If they do Hugh Jackman, then there's no reason. They already gave us Logan. We had the old man Logan thing. Um, Give us a new Wolverine. Make him
Yeah,
look big. Yeah, there's nothing
I
wrong
think
with
he's
that. I'm down for
confirmed.
that.
I'm pretty sure he's confirmed not to be coming back to another movie. I think
No,
after
he's confirmed to
the
be Old Man
Deadpool versus
Logan.
Wolverine thing, that was it, and that was the confirmation that he was done.
No,
Well, I know
he's
he's going to be
confirmed.
in
Good.
Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah, and then he's confirmed to
I
be Old
guess
Man Logan
progressional
in the.
story. Yeah, sure.
He's
That
confirmed
kind
to
of
be
makes
old.
sense to have him there still.
Yo, can you guys
And
not
then
hear
that's
me?
Professor X's last movie too.
I
Oh my
can.
god. Wait, no, you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Martise can't hear me. Okay, I'm gonna have to edit this out. but
Yeah. What were you saying though?
um, he's confirmed to be Old Man Logan though.
In
Going forward, like after the two movies, he'll be that role for the X-Men.
that's fucking stupid.
Hey, they want Hugh Jackman around. Why I don't know. He's a great he's a great actor,
He's
but
amazing, but it's like, okay, we've gotten our worth out of you, bro.
yeah, like he's not
Like,
young anymore.
yeah. You
Does
know,
he
I'm
does he
sure he wants to fuck, but at the same time, that the money bag could always be big enough, and people will buy into it.
listen? Chris Evans was done being Captain America, and then look at him now.
Yep.
So two,
That bag's just got to be big enough, man.
I'm pretty sure they paid him like upwards of 30 million to come do Deadpool and Wolverine. I know for a fact they did. Um,
Yeah, we could even look it up. I'll look it up. Let's see how much.
because they had to convince him to come back and do it because he didn't want to do it anymore. Uh, I want to know why my chief can't hear me. I hate this platform. You know I'm not gonna edit this out. We're gonna real
20
quick.
million, bro, for his role in Deadpool Wolverine.
How much?
20 million.
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, RDJ is getting 40 to come back and do Doctor Doom. So, wow.
Yeah, I might have to finish up.
I'm gonna join off my iPad. I'm not gonna edit this out because we're here at the Nerd Network. We're raw, uncut, and unfiltered. So you guys get to see all the technical difficulties of the podcast as it's
No,
being filmed, and you guys get to see me eat because I didn't eat today.
yeah. Jay's a busy man.
Yeah, but guys, like, I really wanted to like touch on like, I really feel like DC, like Marvel struck gold in the '60s with the X-Men. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
hell yeah.
I don't know when exactly Claremont picked up the run.
The
Um,
'90s.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, so
let's
like,
look it up. Gosh,
when he picked up the run.
I was wrong, dude. 75 to 91.
Wow.
Yeah, giant
Wow.
size X-Men. Yeah,
Wow. 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 Okay.
What was the question?
When did Claremont pick up the X-Men run?
Oh yeah.
75, man. That is
75 to what? To
crazy.
91? To 91?
91. Yeah, that's so much material,
Okay. It
dude.
is. It is. But the X-Men got really, really popular in the 90s. So who did that?
Let's see.
You know what's crazy? I can read so many comics, but for the life of me, I only know certain authors' names.
Oh yeah. It's definitely gonna be Claremont.
Yeah, Chris Claremont and Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because they got really, really popular when Jim Lee joined it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
That's what 97 is based off of.
Yeah, and we get
That.
Yeah.
yep,
Exactly
we
it.
get the post Age of Apocalypse and the
Hmm.
Onslaught event and
Yeah.
the rebirth of the trial of Gambit.
Yeah. The
Hmm.
Extinction Agenda.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know that Jim Lee, his art is heavily referenced for the X Men. Like whenever you see the X Men, like just art, they're always drawing referencing Jim Lee's work. And like out of all the other,
Because he's it's the best designs for the characters, man. Like
yeah,
literally the best
Yeah, it's the
designs.
best and most credible designs. Like it genuinely
Yeah, bro.
for sure.
yeah.
I have that. I literally have that comic run hanging up, like right here. I'm missing Magneto. That is the last one I'm missing.
Yeah, that'd be gas.
So like yeah, so they struck gold in the 90s with the X-Men, right? They struck gold in the 60s with Spider-Man, right? Um and then they kind of kept, and then they struck gold later that same year, or 64 with the Fantastic Four.
Hmm.
Um and they kind of built off all of that. They goes, "Oh, you guys want to see the Fantastic Four? Oh, hey, why don't we put him and Spider-Man together, right? You guys don't want to see the Avengers? Well, let's have them fight the X-Men. You know what I'm saying? They continue to, let's have Spider-Man come and fight the Avengers and beat up all the Avengers. You know what I'm saying? They continue to do these things to get you to kind of enjoy all of their characters. Now, unfortunately, it never worked for the Avengers, but until 2008, and then it did work for the Avengers. And then you get Hickman's run, right? You get Jonathan Hickman to the Avengers, and now the event. Oh shoot, hold on, guys. Okay, yeah, you get Hickman to do the Avengers, and now the Avengers are a household name, and they weren't before. No one cared about them prior to 2008, right? And now there are some people who would even put Iron Man in the Marvel Trinity, or in the Marvel Mount Rushmore. No, they're not doing that.
Yeah, no, he wasn't a popular comic book character. His movies were shown better on screen, on film, than they
Exactly.
were in a comic book form. And
Even in
I
show
think the
form.
only person I know who absolutely loves Iron Man is Ghostface Killer from Wu Tang Clan.
I'm dead.
Like,
No, 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 no. Look, Iron Man's newer stuff is really good. Like that run he has going on right now. Hold on. I don't know the title of it, but I have it.
What got the
So that,
disease?
yeah, that run that he has going on right now is like really good.
Okay. Yeah,
So yeah,
I mean, like a lot of the older Iron Man stuff.
yeah,
That was definitely, yeah. I know. A lot of people really didn't get into it, and even when he had his show, it wasn't one of the most popular animated series because the top. Guess who were the top two best animated series at the time?
yeah,
X-Men and Spider-Man.
yep. Um, so like I for in the future, I want to see DC kind of spread the love the way Marvel does.
Yeah.
Like, look at Thor. They've you know, and the thing is that right. Um, if over here, right, I say over here at Marvel, if you don't care about a certain character, they'll keep pushing it on you until you care about it. Look at Thor. No one read Thor comics until recently,
Mm-hmm.
right? They kept sort of giving it to us, and like Thor has so many different friggin' runs, and no one was reading them until the movies. And now, right, the probably the best Thor story ever, which is Immortal Thor, is probably was one of the best selling books when it was out on when it was on an ongoing series.
Yeah, I feel like once again that just leans into the show argument, or even like the newest comics, like how successful the absolute comics have really been. Um, spreading the love in that aspect of just kind of leading into more of the Green Lantern stuff, even though that's kind of traditionally a part of what James Gunn is going for with his new universe. You guys say stuff about the Flash. I don't have a lot of information on Flash. I just didn't watch the Flash. I didn't read the Flash growing up. I didn't have really no aspects of like knowing the Flash, but that's another one. Like the absolute Flash is doing very well. And so kind of just spreading the love that way. I feel like that's just the argument. Like it's just new age era. Like it's gonna be tough to kind of really push for the comic stuff
Hmm.
unless it's just an absolute version of the character and then going into the show right after that because that's ideally what makes the most sense in this common era where shows are just going to be the most viewed stream things that are out there. So with
Right?
the lineup of all the different characters they have, from your inspector, you have your team up, so your smaller characters like the Blue Beetle, or like we already talked about Sergeant Rock. Like that's another big one, like things like that. The only way to be able to spread the love is just kind of go through those shows. So we've already seen the success of a James Gunn show that I would say no one knew about, which was Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
very successful show that had very little overall comic knowledge on overall. I think most people that I spoke to about Creature Commandos couldn't tell me that that was even part of the DC universe.
Or even Peacemaker for
Yeah,
that same
Peacemaker is another
argument.
great one.
Because nobody, yeah, we go back to that. Nobody knew who Peacemaker was. Same thing with the Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos weren't cool until that series dropped. All those characters are sick.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I think, yeah, I'm excited to see these shows. I just wish they were on different characters because I don't want to see Joker, um, trying to figure out life without Batman. I think it's stupid. There's so many better ideas we could have went with. Like giving Wonder Woman her own series.
Hmm.
Um,
I think she's getting either a series or a movie. She's
yeah,
getting
because
something.
what
I
you
can't
said, the
remember.
Lost, what was it? You're right. The Lost.
Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
She's getting something. She's getting like two things. She's getting a show and she's getting something else. Um,
Okay.
so I have no issue with that. You know what I mean? That I feel like that's the direction we should be going because that's the only way you're going to be able to spread love over a longer period of time. Peacemaker going into, a second season, third season, whatever it may be. Lanterns is probably going to do very, very, very well. It's just, things like Booster Gold. Like you don't know if it's gonna do well. The Sergeant Rock stuff is gonna, you don't know if that's gonna do well. Mr. Miracle is gonna be a tough one because I cannot name a single person that I've ever read comic books with as a child that knows what Mr. Miracle is. I
Well,
can't.
I think it would be cool because then we get to see what's her name, Big Berta, hopefully, and then like that's a
Yeah, Big
really good.
Berta.
All that stuff is a
Yeah,
what the hell's
Dark Side's
Okay.
yeah.
the best villain.
Let me ask you a
I would
question,
say,
right?
yeah, go for it.
Right? Marvel took a risk with the Spider Verse film. No, Sony took a risk because the last one was a Marvel film. The other two weren't. Marvel
Right.
was involved. The last one. Sony took a big risk with the Spider Verse films because before those movies, everyone hated Miles.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, you're right.
right? So if the goal is to get a character liked, get that character liked. Take a risk.
Yep, yep. Change that character. Do what you have to do to make that character loved.
Everyone hated Miles, but the movie was so damn good, they had no choice. And because we were asked out on Spider-Man content at the time, right? All we got was the bits and pieces we were getting of him in the MCU at the time, right?
Yeah, little
Yep.
comments about him and seeing
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Davis and all that stuff.
Right. So um they were asked out on Spider-Man content at the time, and Zeb Wells was fucking ruining the character. Excuse my language, was ruining the character, right? The movie Spider-Man movie comes out, Spider-Verse movie comes out. The movie is so damn good. Half of pop culture forgets they hated Miles a week before the movie comes out.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. You're 100% on that take, dude. Yeah, I agree with you because I remember people being like, who the hell is Miles and
Mm-hmm.
why is he here?" We, I was like, bro, I always liked Miles. I always liked Miles. I never had a problem with Miles.
I think then my argument is they do not feel like Clayface is a risk.
It is a risk.
Oh
Oh,
no,
hold
that
on.
is
Wait, it's a risk because the character is not tied to the character that makes him relevant.
And even here's another one because we just the Penguins was fantastic. Okay, they made
yes.
that character exactly how I would have predicted Penguin to be, just like drawing you in to kind of somewhat like the character. Then he fucks you, and then he
It
wipes him,
takes
and
it
he fucks
right
you
back.
again, and then just snatches everything you thought may have been good about the character away from you at the very end. And I feel like that is another great risk because like they didn't really show the penguin like that. You know what I mean? In the movie, they didn't really bring him in. And I feel like for most people, you don't really think about the penguin. You don't really think about the Riddler. You don't even think about I forget the rat, the rat financial guy, because you think about the main one. So I feel like the penguin was even a risk. Just
Yeah.
pushing
Falcone,
that show. That was
Carmine
like,
Falcone. Well, you don't think about Carmine Falcone because he's been in jail since the 30s. So, so, but yeah, I get what you're trying to say. Um, but the Penguin, right? To piggyback off of what you said, is that they didn't take a risk with the Penguin because they attached it to the source material, which is Batman. Batman is the source material for his entire freaking rogues gallery, right? So when you don't do that, right, you're when you give us a Joker movie with no Batman, and then you introduce Batman as his half brother, and the kid is like 6 years old, and then you have his parents get shot at the end of the movie, and your Joker's already 40. I have a problem with that.
would you
Yeah,
say the
but he
penguin
wasn't.
was really? You go, you go, you go.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. I'm gonna fact check you real quick.
Mhm.
His mom was crazy. He wasn't. That wasn't his half brother.
It wasn't
No, no, no. His mom was having a schizophrenic episode, and like she was actually psycho. They aren't actually related.
okay. Okay, but still,
So
why is your Joker 40 and your Batman is 6?
I'm so dead. So
I'm so dead.
quick question. How tied in do you think the Penguin show was to the Batman movie?
I mean,
Like this
it takes place directly after the
directly
events of the
after.
first movie. Yeah.
But besides that,
Hmm.
like
I think
is
it
there
was.
any mention of the Batman at all?
Yeah, but it still comes from that universe that was already established.
Yeah. No, there's no. Okay, he's right. There's no mention of the Batman at all. But okay, Batman's not here stopping all this shit because he has other shit to deal with on the other side of the city.
Mm.
So, like, you kind of understand why Bruce isn't showing his face when
So
Penguin is committing all these crimes.
so what's wrong with the Clayface movie coming first before possibly introducing the Batman?
Because it's like, wait, where is this? Like, what? Like, where is Batman? Who is this? Why is this? Kind of like the who is Gamora, where is Gamora, why is Gamora? Like, who, what, when, why? How
Yeah,
old is
why is
Batman?
Gotham? being brought up without Batman.
Exactly. Well, like, what era are we in Gotham? We're obviously in the superhero era, so we know that when we go into DC, Carmine Falcone, Salvatore Cameroni won't they'll be locked up already, right? So because we're in the supervillain era of Batman, right? Okay, so where's Bane? Right? Did Batman get his back broken yet? Or did he not get his back broken yet? Has Killer Croc killed anyone yet? Right? I don't know these things. Is the Joker established yet? Has he thrown Harley Quinn off of that three
You
hundred
gotta
foot
wait
tall
until the
cliff?
movie comes out. You
Like,
gotta wait until the movie comes out because I feel like the trailer kind of explains what era of this is. But I feel
Mhm.
like this is a hey kind of a nerd movie. Like hey, if you like Clayface, you'll really like this movie because if you know what's going on, you know when it's a set. Now, if you give me like 5 minutes, I'll be able to tell you exactly when it's a set. 'Cause I need to watch the trailer again. But I don't think that's the point. I feel like the point is like, yo, you gotta just wait.
but it's
And
like
what I was saying
But
before is because like I'm trying to give James Gunn the chance because we gave Taika Waititi a chance for Thor. He did great on The Dark World. I don't think he did great on Love and Thunder.
he
And that's
sucked
like
ass.
right.
Love and Thunder and Dark World was ass. He didn't do Dark World. Ragnarok was his only good project.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, sorry, Ragnaroks. I apologize. But we love them for the same reason for those movies because they wrote the same like comically and really kind of brought characters out, I guess, in that aspect to make them more human. And I feel like that's an important part about like, yo, we gotta just wait. Unfortunately, it's going to be something interesting and something that isn't done before. Hence, why it's a risk. It's a risk. You're complaining that he's putting a villain first in the universe
Because we've
of
seen
what
this
we would
fail.
call Batman.
We've seen this fail
When we
time
seen
and
this fail?
Venom,
Craven,
fucking
Morbius,
Craven,
Madam Web.
Morbius. Like,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
that's like not introducing a universe. Like Venom fails in a sense because it absolutely it did three movies. The first one did well, second one did all right, third one did absolutely terrible. Even though there's a good connection with the character, Morbius was also another character that people don't know about.
They were
Unfortunately, it really
trying
just
to
sucks. But it was a
they were
mean
setting
era.
up an eventual Spider-Man return to Sony, right? So the deal that they have with Disney is that whichever Spider-Man you use, we can't use. Whichever Spider-Man you use, we can't use, right? So they were effed by giving away Tom Holland. Right? They shot themselves in the foot by giving away Tom Holland. So now they say, okay, we can either bring Andrew back, bring Toby back, or we can set up Spider-Man, right? Or we can bring in a Madam Web, which fucking sucks, right? They were building
That
up the
one was
Sinister Six.
trash.
Yeah, so they chose to go the Sinister Six route. Okay, guys, let's build up the Sinister Six by giving them fucking six individual movies that sucked, right? And then since I don't even know when was Morbius even a part of the Sinister Six. He's more of an anti-hero to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was part of Sinister Six at one point. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that team's
It's
always
always changing.
interchanging
Yes, it's always changing.
characters.
But
So
I personally, and all the Sinister Six, I have the Revenge of the Sinister Six, the one that Ghost Rider appears in upstairs right now, and fucking Morbius isn't in that shit. So, and the ones that I've read, he's not in those either. But like I said that team is constantly changing. I believe there were 60 of them at one point that Spider-Man ended up fighting, but which I don't know how that's possible. But the point is that um putting villains first, we've seen the formula. Joker, the most popular bad guy in all of pop culture. There is no one else that is more popular than the Joker when it comes to villainy. Argue with a wall. Um, he got a movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Now, I think Joaquin Phoenix is a terrific actor. He did great in that first movie. The second one with Madonna sucked because they decided to
Lady
get rid
Gaga.
of.
Lady Gaga, brother.
Sorry, oh yeah, Lady Gaga. Oh, I thought it was Madonna. Oh my God, Lady Gaga sucked. Right? They decided to get rid of the perfect Harley Quinn and make it a musical.
I feel like I don't want to say this is a formula thing. I think this is all writer attribution. Like,
I feel like
how were
it's
they written into the like? I think them making it into a musical has nothing to do with the formula. I feel like Clayface being a murder mystery kind of suspenseful movie, almost horror like, is a great idea.
Oh, yeah, it is a great
Venom, the
idea.
first Venom being more like a comical James Gunn, Guardians Against the Galaxy kind of movie made sense. Making a second one, sure, that was decent because introducing Carnage is a great idea.
Yeah.
Probably not my
And
favorite
it's
actor
a
for
great
Carnage.
idea. It's a great idea for a short time period because then you have to ask yourself, wait a minute. Venom's here, his son is here. Where's Spider-Man?
Where's
Then in the
Spider
third
Man?
movie,
Yeah.
yes, right. Then in the third movie, you have okay, Venom's here, his son is here, their fucking dad is here in Null, right? And where's Spider-Man? Right?
Okay, but here's my question: would you have complained if they only released the two?
No.
Yes,
Exactly. I feel
I
like
would
that's
have.
the problem. Is people wanted to shoot for the trilogy, and it's like, okay, well now we're like, where is he now? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I get that, but you didn't complain about the formula the first and second time because they did well for
Because it
very
worked.
obvious reasons.
It worked, but I still asked myself where's Spider-Man, and I knew what they were trying to set up. It's just that they
They
shot
even
themselves in the
teased
foot.
us with the Venom versus Spider Man
They
part where he's
did,
licking
right?
the TV.
They did, but they shot themselves in the foot with the deal that they signed with Disney when it came to Tom Holland, right? They shot themselves in the foot so they couldn't use him. But then they worked out another deal to bring Venom in. But then it collapsed when the third movie just sucked and Kevin Feige said we don't need him. You know what I'm saying? And like because they really don't need Venom. Plus, they're gonna most likely introduce Venom in this movie or in the next Avengers movie. So if Spider-Man does not come back from Battle World without the symbiote, I'm gonna throw a fit. But um,
I
But
think he's
also,
gonna die in this movie.
I'm dead.
No, I'm serious.
oh wow, you just dropped the bomb on me. Okay, I think Mary Jane's gonna die.
I think something I just want to bring up before we kind of go on a tangent
Hmm.
is that another thing that kind of plays into that because we remember the BAFTA riot, right? All like the
Yep,
writers' riots. That
yep.
was going on during Venom 3. Like that was delayed because of those writer riots. So I want to say like, yo, that was rushed and pushed out and not really produced correctly for that same reason. And also with all the debacles between Sony and Marvel trying to figure out exactly which Spider they're going to use, I feel like it was probably impossible cost wise to be able to introduce Tom Holland or even Andrew Garfield because our Andrew was doing a lot of movies during those times as well.
So why tease
Um,
us with it?
say it one more time on my bad.
So why tease us with it?
Can't say for sure.
Sony
It's
wanted
a
to.
probably it's a bag thing. You mentioned it earlier. It's a bag thing.
Sony was losing. I'm gonna tell you right now. No, Sony was losing because they've had two Spider-Man actors and they shot themselves in the foot when it either came to the second or the third movie with both. Right, the first Amazing Spider-Man movie was amazing. Okay,
Of
it was
course.
amazing. They had the perfect suit, the perfect guy, the
Oh
perfect
God,
hair.
no, the suit for get no, but
Okay,
everything
okay,
else,
all
yes,
right, right. The
yes.
suit was beautiful though.
You
But
didn't like the
listen, they had
suit? That's
they had
No,
crazy.
that
they
shit
had the
is
perfect
That's
ugly.
like
guy.
the best suit.
It is the best suit.
Amazing
But listen,
Spider-Man 1, the
yes,
first
that's
two?
yes, that's the
Yes.
best suit, bro.
No,
It's
That's
beautiful.
no,
yeah. You had to
Bro,
hit the.
no.
okay,
That
Oh,
shit
listen,
that's
hold
is
on, right?
crazy.
ugly,
Hold on,
capital PH, bro.
hold
Oh,
on,
this
right?
is crazy.
Right, hold on, right? So they had the guy with Toby. Now Toby was a great was he did a lot for the character. He was a terrible Peter Parker and a decent fighting Spider-Man. That's it. He was a decent aggressive Spider-Man, right? They had Toby. By the time the third movie came, they gave us the Sinister Two because you killed off the Goblin,
Right.
and you killed off Doc Ock. So you gave
Right.
us the Sinister Two, and that sucked, right? And then you made Venom not Venom, but right. So then all these years go by, right? Marvel finally says, you know what? We're gonna do this too because we're better than all of you. The Fantastic Four sucks. The X-Men movies suck, minus a few of them, right? So we're gonna do it now. Iron Man comes out, that's a smash hit. Captain America comes out, that's a smash hit. Avengers comes out, that's a smash hit. Thor comes out, that's a smash hit. They keep going. All these smash hits, Captain Marvel. That's okay. And all these smash hits, right? And then you finally get to say, hey guys, we've done all of this. Let's work out a deal with Sony for Spider-Man. Sony comes begging with open arms. No, comes begging with a big bucket, a big popcorn bucket with no popcorn in it. Please save us. We don't know what to do. We put out a Spider-Man game and it did nothing for us, but besides make us a bunch of money, but that's it, right? So Marvel says, beg us. They beg them. Tom Holland gets casted. It's amazing. Everyone loves him. right? But then the comparisons start. Why? Because there's no Tom Holland content for the next 3 freaking years after his first movie comes out, right? So, right, then on top of that, Marvel now has got the formula right. They've got everybody talking about this fucking 25-year-old kid that looks 15, right? They got everybody talking about him. Okay, guys, let's give them more movies, more Spider-Man. Shove this guy down their throats. Then they take him away from us. They give us nothing, nada, right? Sony starts doing what they do. They start putting out all these bullshit movies, Craven, all this. They do these things just so that Marvel can't use the characters. Because whoever Sony uses, remember, Marvel can't use. So Marvel can now not use Rhino, they cannot use Null, they cannot use Craven, and they cannot
Can't
use
use
that version of
Chameleon.
Venom.
Can't use
Can't use Chameleon. Can't
Doc
use,
Brock.
they cannot use
Riot. They
anyone.
can't use Scream. They can't use any of those
They
guys.
cannot use anyone from the Sinister Six besides the Goblin and Doc Ock because those are the only people that we have not seen, right? Um, but Marvel says, you know what? F them. We don't need them, right? Oh, so, no, oh my God, they did give us the Goblin and Doc Ock. Oh my God, see, look at
They
that,
did.
right?
They did.
So, but they cannot use anyone else from the team. But they used Electro and they used the Lizard. Right. Uh, the Marvel gets it right now. Now Sony, right? But so let's go back to the Venom movie, right? When they teased that tease, Sony says, "Save us, Marvel, please. We don't know what the freak we're doing. We have two Venom movies and no Spider-Man. Help us." So it's okay. Let's tease it. Let's see how the people react. Right? They tease it. The next few Sony movies flop. Marvel says, bye bye, we don't need you. We have our agreement with Tom. That's all we need. Why? Because Marvel has proved time and time again that they know what they're doing because it's their characters and these other studios bought them just to buy them. They don't know what they're doing. The people who are making those movies at the other studios do not love the source material. Look at the Fantastic Four. The moment Marvel gets the rights back to the Fantastic Four, they give us a beautiful movie. Now, granted, the movie was reshot to hell. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It was good, right? The moment they get the rights back to the X-Men, what do we get? Probably the best show Marvel has ever put out. The moment, literally, they get the rights back to the X Men. They get the rights back to the X Men. And they say, you know what? You guys aren't making any more movies. They gut it. They give us their Deadpool and Wolverine. And then give us X Men 97. And we're going to get more Deadpool movies. And the first two Fox films for Deadpool were really cool. I'm not saying they were bad. They weren't. The third one was the best one. And they put Wolverine in it, and they didn't even need him. That movie would have sold if you had friggin' anyone there, literally. So the point is that like these other companies, and I'm not saying DC doesn't know what they were doing. When Snyder was running the helm, he had a plan. Granted, that plan sucked, but it was a plan.
Right.
DC wanted to keep up with Marvel, but they couldn't, and it shot that plan to hell. Now, granted, I am not a fan of what he wanted to do with my goat. I'm really not. I think it was stupid to end up having him become a puppet for Darkseid, but it only would have further ruined Superman's actual image, which it already has. As you can see, people have trouble attaching to the James Gunn version of Superman, which is really good. But I think that, and then Marvel kind of fell off the deep end too. They fell off the deep end with when after Endgame. That's another thing. Oh my God, that DC should have capitalized after Endgame. After Endgame, when Disney tells Marvel, "Hey, we need you to meet our streaming needs," because they launched Disney Plus after that, and they started putting out all those movies that sucked, but they were trying to meet those streaming needs. The market for superheroes kind of dropped, and DC could have capitalized, but they didn't because after Endgame, the demand for superhero films are at an all-time high. They've never been that high, right? Right or wrong,
That's
Oh yeah.
true. That's
right?
true.
They've never been that high. And then if you fast forward, if you go back, rewind to Batman versus Superman, these are the two of the biggest characters ever on the big screen for the first time ever. I do not think in my heart I do not think, in my memory, we've ever had Batman or Superman in live action ever.
No, no live action, just shows.
It just shows we have not, right? That movie does numbers, right? Even though I hated it, it was terrible to me. But that movie does numbers, and then they give us nothing of the sort again. It's like, why would you do that? You just edged me. You just edged me.
I'm dead. Got to go back into that whole giving some love because the next thing they do is for the next 8 years, right? 6 years, Aquaman, The Flash,
Which sucks.
Shazam.
Sucks. No,
Yeah,
the
kind
first
of
one
all
was
the
good.
same thing. The first Suicide Squad I feel like was good.
The
To
first
be
Suicide
fair,
Squad was good. A little corny, but it was good. The
a little
first
corny.
Shazam was good. The
Jared
first
Leto's
Shaz-
trash.
yeah, the
Birds
first
of Prey.
Birds of Prey was good because it was Margot Robbie.
This is also true. I'll agree with that one for now,
Yeah,
but
I'll give you that one too.
I'll give you that one. But then it's like the whole like it's oh man, it wasn't done by Zack Snyder. Why don't we get Zack Snyder to do it? And Zack Snyder does it, and I feel like that only tore the universe, tore like the production, like how people view the films overall. Because if they're not Zack Snyder, I don't want it, and I feel it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I think we're overcooking some films, like the Justice League thing. We overcooked. Like, although like the first one was probably mid when it came to the editing, CGI, and stuff like that, and Zack Snyder really tuned it up. I don't think it really did anything for me for him to do it again. Like, why? So,
His version of the Justice League movie was slightly better um than what Josh Whedon put out.
right, but
Um,
slightly better isn't going to
Cut it.
really pull the, you know what I mean? Like that's why like a good refresher, just tying it all together. Let's get James Gunn. He's super successful. He's gonna do the right thing and just bring it all right to one place. So that's why it kind of makes it like he has his writers already written out for which ones he's gonna be doing for Gods and Monsters. I get it. But I think he's just gonna produce everything. And if he does, ideally I feel like that makes the most sense because it'll keep it unified for who's creating, how they're going to create it, what we're going to expect. The idea is the exact same, and it's going to bring the universe well together. And I feel like the Marvel kind of did that. We're going to say from 2008 to 2015. I'm pretty sure how that worked for the unification of how stories were made, what producers were used, and what writers were used, and that's why it kind of worked to kind of unify those stories together.
mhm.
All the way from Iron Man to the first Hulk, first Thor, and all those different things, and all the way up to Endgame. It makes sense, but DC really never had that. And so going back to the idea, like, oh, they never had a unified idea. No one had an idea except for Zack Snyder, even though his ideas were garbage because he's not really that good of a visionary. Um, but here we are. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the love is gonna be given with shows. The love is gonna be spread with shows. Because the comics are, in my argument, DC Universe comics are better than Marvel. It's not really an argument for me. You can talk. You can have that argument, bro. I'm gonna be talking to a wall. I promise
I
you.
no, you're right, but let me say this: DC has never done anything better than anything the X Men have ever put out, and the
I'll
Fantastic
agree.
Four.
I'll agree because it's just they kind of focus on those soul people stories, with
Hmm.
the exception of the Justice League and Teen Titans. I feel like if they, it's hard to develop the Teen Titans past the success of the first show.
You're right.
The
What?
success of
Sorry.
the first show was absolutely tough to build upon. The Justice League, super show based, but had and Young Justice, all these super show based, highly loved. Like it's hard to build them upon that because it just the shows were so good. And how do you build upon that? They never showed love to anybody in the Justice League until it was already too late. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You didn't lean into those characters enough. That's why I'm super big on the Martian Manhunter having a very successful absolute Martian Manhunter comic, and him then possibly being put into the new Justice League movie. I think they're gonna do exactly. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll kind of see. But that's
I
kind of where that comes from. It's hard to kind
I
of create the X-Men success.
also I want to. I have to debunk you because Spider-Man exists, and up until 2014, he was the best-selling comic book out. So every year. So yeah. Uh, But everything else, I'll mildly agree with you. Mildly. The Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four outsell a lot of what DC does, but up and before Absolute Batman, obviously. Um, so, but I think DC just needs to, like you said, go off the deep end and give everyone a chance, give other characters a chance. Like, even Marvel, like Marvel needs to give Blue Marvel a shot. I'd love to see some Blue Marvel. They put him in the he's in the current Black Panther runs.
Yeah.
Um, but which suck, by the way. I need to figure out what's going on with Black Panther. But yeah, they brought Sentry back. Why can't we give Blue Marvel a shot? Because of the movie, obviously I know. But what else? Yeah.
Yeah, the main differences that I can tell between the DC universe and the Marvel universe and how they're going to curate their plans and strategies is that the DC universe is going to build a lot off of villains because that's what they're really well known for. They're really well written villains, and then I've definitely dove into that. And then Marvel is going to dive into their heroes. You know what I mean? Even if they're
Yep.
fighting villains that aren't super well known, people are going to watch the movies because the heroes are just that good, that well written, or that heroic, or that famous. It's just hard. You know what I mean? It's hard for them to build off of a villain. And then, I guess that's another reason why the Venom formula, in some aspect, didn't work out how they expected to off of a trilogy. Um, Especially with not introducing Spider-Man, but I guess time-wise, doesn't make sense to introduce him until I guess the third movie. Um, and that goes for anything else that Marvel has released when it comes to a villain. I mean, I feel like most people don't even really understand who Thanos is until we got, Infinity War. Like people don't understand that,
They teased him they teased him in the first Avengers film, and then
right?
gave
And
us just
Ultron.
enough. Yeah, they gave us just enough um to kind of
He was almost
wonder.
treated as like a legend or like a myth in the
Yeah,
Yeah,
universe
exactly.
at the time.
But that's how most of the characters they perceive them as. Like the Marvel would do a great like if they did what I would believe is their version of a gods and monsters, they would do really well. And what a good way to kind of understand and get a scope of how well they would do is watching the What If show. Like kind of seeing
you
like
mean you
who's
mean the
really
Captain
out
Carter
there.
show?
The Captain Carter show was good. You know what I mean? But like
It was all
I
right, man. It had a few good episodes.
That's crazy. I used to work as a therapist, psychotherapist, and I used to watch it with my patients because it was the only thing they could really watch, and we would kind of watch it together. But that I feel like that was a good show. A little bit of a tangent overall, but um, overall good show. But yeah, like just to the point. I feel like they would do well with the Gods and Monsters because there's a lot out there that they're not really exploring in a movie form, with the exception of the King stuff and the Ant Man stuff. That was weird. Um, that all that was like meme. I feel like those are some of the worst movies that I've seen overall.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah, like those movies are really bad, but it's just not their formula. They focus on heroes.
yeah,
Them doing heroes and then inviting comedic villains is kind of what they would do, which is why Love and Thunder exists and why Guardians of the Galaxy exists and
We
stuff like
can't hear
that.
you guys.
you can't hear us.
Mm-mm.
He broke it.
Oh,
He,
I
he
broke it.
broke it.
Hold on. All right, can you hear me now?
I don't know what happened.
All right. Well, guys, after all the technical difficulties, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end it because there's just so many technical difficulties going on with this episode. I do hope you guys like this episode, but what we'll do is we will do a part two because this is an interesting topic. So, um, this is a very interesting topic. So we'll do an episode two. But I hope you guys liked it.
Yeah.
This is Booski. This is Martise, and